Sorry about that. Doesn't look like my mic was connected, but how is it going, everybody? I'm the BTC Reaper, and my goal on this channel is to teach you how to reap the rewards of trading whether price is going up or down. Over on the Dixie for the daily, we are continuing above our EMA. This is positive. We could continue to the blue EMA next, and if we can break and hold that, we could push to the 102. VWAP is pushing forward. Momentum is gaining strength. Money flow does want to push up. Stochastic is gaining strength, and our RSI is pushing forward. Overall, that does look positive for Dixie. With the inverse relationship, I would exercise caution though. We did see futures trade with Dixie yesterday. Bitcoin is kind of trading with Dixie today, but I would still exercise caution and watch for the inverse relationship. It quite hasn't broken yet. Our stochastic is pushing down, RSI wants to weaken, momentum is rounding away. That VWAP does want to break that neutral, so watch that VWAP close. If it continues to favor bearish, momentum will break down. Money flow will continue lower, and dominance will weaken. Remember, that doesn't mean Bitcoin has to sell off, but it does mean Bitcoin will do worse than altcoins. Over on total for the daily, we are holding our EMA just barely, so I would watch very close. If we can break above and make a strong bounce here, we could push forward, but that manipulation X with that push to our pattern does suggest we tried to retest our pattern again, and we lost it. This could end up causing altcoins to sell off. Our stochastic is pulling back, RSI is weakening, momentum is dropping, VWAP is pulling back, so overall I would exercise caution. Over on our 4 hour here, we do have a lower high with a slightly lower low, so I would watch. If we continue lower, we could create a bearish trend. If we stay within this range, we could create a bear flag. Either way, we could end up breaking down. Stochastic does want to round away, RSI is pulling back, VWAP is favoring bearish, momentum is rounding with the red dot, and money flow is weakening, so I would exercise caution. Over on the 2 hour, we did reject the 250 and 300 EMA. We jumped up above that blue EMA, failed to hold, and we pushed down. Stochastic is pulling back, RSI is weakening, VWAP is pulling back, momentum is falling into bearish territory. So if that VWAP does not reverse, our money flow will continue to weaken, and higher time frames will start to flip into bearish territory. Over on our 1 hour, we do have some indecision going on. We are trying to make a rounding bottom, so I would watch if we can break and hold above our yellow EMA. If we can't, it's likely bears would gain control and continue to drop us lower. Momentum is breaking down, VWAP is trying to push that neutral, stochastic is heading up, RSI is gaining strength, and money flow does want to push forward, but if that VWAP rejects here and gets a lower high, we will see bears remain in control. Watch very close for that. Over on Bitcoin futures, we did see kind of a whiplash action, not really going too far, so I would watch. We could see the bears gain control as we're struggling to push forward off our value area low of our fixed range volume profile. Momentum is rounding away, VWAP is breaking down, money flow is pulling back, stochastic selling off, RSI is selling off, so overall I would exercise caution. Over on our 4 hour, we did kind of whipsaw around. We tried to get near that 300 EMA, got rejected, and we fell. We do have a gap to the upside though, so I would watch for that to fill, just like when we whipsawed here and filled that gap there. Stochastic does want to round away, RSI is pulling back, VWAP is about to break that neutral, momentum is rounding with a red dot, signaling that it does want to sell off, and if that continues, money flow will go from green to red, and we will start to see a reversal on the 4 hour. Over on the 2 hour, we tried to break that EMA, that 300 EMA, and we failed to do so, so stochastic is dropping, RSI is weakening, momentum is rounding, VWAP is breaking down, and money flow is remaining bearish. Over on our 1 hour, we are somewhat flat here after breaking down. I would watch. Remember, that could create a bear flag to drop us lower, possibly toward that 57 support. Stochastic is starting to drop down, RSI is weakening, VWAP is favoring bearish, causing momentum to drop, and money flow is bearish but wants to break forward. If that VWAP can break for a higher high, we could see money flow follow, but if that VWAP stays bearish, it's likely money flow will start to reverse soon. Over on Bitcoin, we did warn that we would see a rejection in our Discord. So if you weren't in the Discord and you were hoping for this run up to continue past our pattern, then you would not have seen that warning that we made. Over on the 1 hour, we did warn that we could see a rejection. We'll cover that. Our stochastic is dropping away, RSI is pulling back, momentum is dropping down, VWAP wants to break down, and money flow is bearish, so I would watch. Remember that Discord is free, so if that's the reason you're not in, it doesn't cost you a thing. Over on the 4-hour, stochastic wants to round, RSI is pulling back, VWAP wants to break that neutral, momentum is rounding with the red dot, VWAP is going to cause momentum to continue to drop, and if that VWAP holds more bearish here, money flow will go from green to red, so watch those lower time frames. Over on the 2-hour, we hit that 300 EMA, that black line, and we got rejected and we fell pretty quick. Remember, that is a strong support resistance area, and if you don't get above and hold, you're going to continue lower. Momentum is selling off, VWAP is breaking down, money flow is selling off, stochastic selling off, and RSI is pulling back. So overall, that 2-hour does not look very positive. Over on the 1-hour, I believe we were somewhere near this breakup zone, possibly around here. We did say VWAP was staying bullish, but we are seeing lower highs, so I would exercise caution as we approach our 300 EMA because we could break that, and that's exactly what we saw. RSI is starting to pull back, stochastic is selling off, momentum is breaking down, and VWAP is bearish, so watch for a lower high. If we get a lower high here, the bears could end up rejecting us down, as we did retest our pattern. We tried to get back into it, and both times we failed to hold. So it's likely we would push down toward that 57, and we could possibly fill this lower area, but I wouldn't bet on it because our bullish pattern played out. So this pattern is played out. I would still just watch for a break of that 55 or 57, and 55 could still be a support just because it's one of those even psychological. 55k level is like a psychological support, 57 psychological, and kind of even number or repeating number. So over on graph for the daily, we are breaking down. We do have a manipulation X. That manipulation X does want to bring us lower, so watch out. Stochastic is dropping down, RSI is pulling back, momentum selling off, VWAP is breaking down, and money flow selling off. So overall, I would watch out. Over on the 4-hour, we have slightly lower highs with lower lows, so again, exercise caution, as that VWAP is favoring bearish, momentum is dropping with a red dot, money flow is weakening, stochastic is dropping, and RSI is pulling back, so we don't look the greatest, and with total being weak, we could end up breaking that 14,316 and possibly pushing down to around that 13 cent area. Our stochastic does want to pull back. We have orange above blue, RSI is dropping, VWAP is favoring bearish, momentum is dropping, and money flow is pulling back. So overall, I would exercise caution here. Over on the 1-hour, stochastic is starting to round away, RSI is pulling back. VWAP does have higher lows, so I would watch if we can cross neutral and hold. If we can, we could run up, but that would be dependent on that VWAP creating a new bullish trend like here and holding unlike here. Momentum is dropping down, money flow does want to push up, so watch that VWAP close. If that VWAP breaks bullish and holds, momentum could reverse and money flow could try to become green. If we're green for several hours, remember that does have the potential to push higher time frames up. So over on Ankr for the daily, we do have a bit of a long upper shadow candle. I would watch as we are on that value area low of our fixed range volume profile, and if we don't make a strong bounce here, we're likely breaking that 2338. Our stochastic is dropping down, RSI is pulling back, VWAP is falling, momentum is pulling back, money flow is favoring bearish, so overall I would exercise caution. Over on the 4-hour here, we do have lower highs with lower lows, so I would watch. Remember, if that continues, we could break down. If we trade sideways, we could still break down. So in order to push up, we need higher highs with higher lows. Stochastic does want to pull back, RSI is selling off, VWAP is breaking down, momentum is rounding with a red dot as that VWAP sells off. So watch VWAP close, as that could lead money flow from green to red, as it's on edge right now. Over on the 2-hour, we do have a manipulation X. We do have a gap above that X, so we could fill that later. Remember, we don't have to fill right away, but that does give us the possibility of making a bounce later. Stochastic is pulling back, momentum is rounding, VWAP is favoring bearish, money flow is pulling back, so overall exercise caution there. Finally, on the 1-hour, we are seeing a trend below our EMAs. We're failing to hold above our blue and yellow EMA, and we continue to fall. Stochastic is pulling back, VWAP is favoring bearish, momentum is breaking down, money flow wants to round away, and our RSI is starting to lose steam due to that stochastic pulling back. Over on XRP for the daily, we did invalidate our double bottom possibility, so we will delete that. Stochastic is pulling back, RSI is pretty flat, VWAP is favoring bearish, money flow is flat, so watch that VWAP. If it continues to favor bearish, that money flow isn't far behind falling. Over on our 4-hour here, we are coming back down near where this 54,806, so that is a Fibonacci level. Stochastic is pulling back. We did break our 300 EMA. RSI is dropping, VWAP is falling, momentum is dropping, money flow is bearish. So our 4 hour does look like we are starting to reject that 57, and we could make a move to our 54 if we're not careful next. Over on this 2 hour, we do have a long lower shadow candle that could be forming, so if followed by a strong green candle, we could push up, but if followed by a red candle, it's likely we will make that drop. Stochastic is pulling back, RSI is selling off, VWAP is breaking down, momentum is falling, money flow is selling off, so overall that 2 hour is not very strong. Over on the 1 hour, we are failing to hold above our EMAs, much like other coins. VWAP is favoring bearish. Watch for a rejection of that neutral. If we do, we will get a lower high, and then we could follow with consistent lows that will start to weaken money flow. As that money flow continues to weaken from this point, we would see higher time frames sell off, so watch that VWAP very close. If it breaks bullish, we could prevent that, but if we see it reject, we're likely seeing more bearish momentum. Finally, on ALGO for the daily, since we have no requests, we are pushing up to our EMA bands, but we're struggling to hold. I would watch this, could be a long upper shadow that, if followed by a strong red candle, could bring us lower. Stochastic is dropping, RSI is falling, momentum does have a double red dot signaling it wants to fall, as VWAP is bearish and money flow is trying to break down as well. Over on our 4 hour, we did reject that 300 and 250 EMAs, and we continued lower. We are below our EMA band, so remember, watch for a continued break, as that does give bears more control. Stochastic is dropping away, RSI is pulling back, VWAP is breaking bearish, momentum is rejecting with the red dot, and money flow is pulling back, so I would exercise caution. Over on the 2 hour, we did push above the 300 EMA, then we lost it. That would have been the critical retest you should have been watching for if you wanted to continue up and break that 1350. Stochastic is pulling back, RSI is selling off, momentum is dropping, VWAP is breaking down with lower lows, so watch for lower highs. If we get that, momentum will break and money flow will follow. Over on our 1 hour, we did break that EMA and we are dropping. Stochastic is falling, RSI is pulling back, VWAP is favoring bearish, momentum is dropping, and money flow is pulling back. So overall, watch that VWAP close. If it rejects that neutral, we're likely continuing lower. Thank you for watching tonight's channel. I hope you have a great